Rob Van Dam, what made you first get into pro wrestling?
I was a fan, and so I was very excited about just being around it, and enticed by all the action. And I went to my very first live show when I was 14 or 15 years old, and somebody at that show put it in my mind. They said, you like it so much, you should start lifting weights, work out, and you should become a pro wrestler when you're 18. I never even thought of it before. I thought you had to be born a wrestler or something. I don't know. But once someone told me I could do that, I never thought of anything else.
What did you want to be as a child?
A lot of times, I hated getting that question as a kid because it made me feel like there was a lot of pressure, just like when I didn't have a girlfriend. Whenever I'd go to my grandma's and she'd say, "Robbie, do you have a girlfriend?" It always made me feel like I was failing in some way, like no one's serious, And then a lot of times I think kids are hit with that too. What are you going to do when you grow up? What are you going to be? And a lot of times I didn't know. I was very interested in comic books, and there was a time when I wanted to be an artist. There was a time when I wanted to write, and I still really like to write, and do and will make that available, sometime for people to read. But I think, besides wrestling, writing or drawing was probably the only thoughts for the future I had, because wrestling hit me at a pretty young age. Like I said, 14 or 15, I was completely focused, and I had a one-track mind. So all through high school, I was getting in trouble for wrestling in the hallways and all kinds of stuff like that.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Apart from the Sheikh, who has been the biggest influence on your career?
Biggest influence in my career? Well, Sabu, the Sheik's nephew. He not only firsthand trained me in the ring with the Sheik, but because that was at such a young age, I was 18, he really taught me a lot about being a man. He taught me about being generous, and he taught me about taking care of the family, and taking care of some of the other guys that might not be doing as good as you. And he taught me a lot about just being out on the road, which I didn't know. I was 18 years old. I hadn't been anywhere. And of course, he taught me everything about actual wrestling and the business, how to stand out, how to do the business end, and ask for more money as I see my value go up. Besides teaching me everything from the first arm drag on up.
Wow, okay. Well, who has been your favourite wrestler to work with, and why?
It's been Sabu again, and that's because he is, like myself, willing to do anything that we feel is appropriate to entertain our fans, and that's thinking way outside the box for us. Not afraid to try stuff, and also he knows and gives me all the respect that I need during a match, to be really creative and really get the most out of it. I also like to wrestle Rey Mysterio because he's so agile and acrobatic that he can do almost any move in the world, and that's also a result of a very exciting match.
Wow. And what has been your greatest ever match?
Well, my greatest opponent has been Jerry Lynn, which was back in the original ECW days. That's because we both brought something extra out of each other in a level of competition to where every match we would outdo our last match, and we would go out there and we would counter moves from the last match. Then we'd come out and we'd counter the counter to the moves. And there hasn't been anywhere else in my career where somebody's done that. And it was at a point where we were both up and coming. We were both really trying hard for the betterment and the growth of ECW, to be recognized for something different. It was a real important part of my career where there was just no holding back anything whatsoever. It was giving everything you had 110%, making sacrifices, and those brought out some great matches. The biggest accomplishment that I've had would have been beating John Cena to win the world title at ECW One Night Stand.
Absolutely. Congratulations for that. What's been your favourite memory of being in the original ECW?
Boy, there sure is a lot of them. I enjoyed carrying both the tag team title and the ECW television championship at the same time, and having the prestige of being the longest reigning champion at the time, with almost a 24-month title reign. Those matches that I had with defending that television championship were by far the best matches of my career, and that was all put down on my DVD, One of a Kind. So thank God for DVDs. That's single memories. I think about jumping off the top rope into the fifth row on Bam Bam Bigelow. That piece of footage has been played a lot of times, and I'm thankful that people can see that, because you don't get to see that all the time. And winning that match for the ECW Television Championship, probably one of my favorite outstanding moments.
Why do you feel you were held back from being ECW's world champion first time round?
Because Paul Heyman understood that after I reached a certain point, because I stood out, because I'm so unique and one of a kind, I didn't need to have that championship belt. It was something on the business end where a lot of guys need a belt to get people to look at them. They need that to grow and to get people to start believing in them, and so forth. And when I won the ECW Television Championship, I was at that point. A year and a half later, I've got the ECW Television Championship belt, meaning more than the heavyweight belt. When I did that with the hardcore belt in WWF, they got rid of it. In ECW, Paul looked at it on business end and said, I got my heavyweight belt over here. Mike Awesome at the time was the champion. The TV belt is either one could be main event on any night. That just adds more value spread out throughout the whole show. And eventually we would have had to face off, and see like which one really meant more. But that never happened. Yeah.
Were you accepted in the WWE locker room when you first arrived?
I was, and I was surprised to learn how many of the guys there were actually fans of mine and appreciated my work. And plus, at that point, let's see, that was 2001. I had been wrestling for a good 11 years, 12 years, so a lot of the wrestlers I've known, from Japan or from ECW or from independent shows before that, so I've definitely been around. But like I said, the locker room definitely accepted me, and most of the guys were happy to have me there.
And what's your highlight in WWE?
I guess trying to separate that from the new ECW is definitely WWE. It's not like the old ECW, and winning that heavyweight title would now be definitely a WWE moment. Besides that, though, trying to separate ECW and thinking more of Raw or SmackDown, any of the non-ECW moments. I've had some really great matches with Christian, with Eddie Guerrero. Some great ladder matches, wrestling Big Show in his first ladder match, and the Money in the Bank match when I won the briefcase. That was a great moment leading up to that match with John Cena, and taking that briefcase and getting the airbrush just like my outfit. That was awesome.
Talking about John Cena, what do you think of him as a wrestler?
As a professional wrestler, which combines entertainment with athleticism, he's definitely very good at the WWE style.
Okay, would you like to elaborate on that anymore?
Well, I don't think that overall that the WWE style is my favorite, that I've done in my whole career. It's definitely the most lucrative and most prestigious, and they're definitely number one. But a lot of times what they look for in a match doesn't have enough, in my opinion, to do with the actual wrestling. And John Cena can wrestle too as well. But what he's really good at, is getting on the microphone, entertaining the crowd, and that's a huge part of WWE. For me, I like to see the actual moves that are entertaining. So I try to always do what I would want to do what I would want to see if I bought a ticket. And personally, for me, a lot of the talking and stuff is a turnoff. But then I'm a bit out of position as far as out of perspective there, because I haven't really been a fan or sat and watched the show in many years. I've been on the other side.